beautiful sight to behold. Lady Liberty standing majestically over the waters of New York Harbor. Brooklyn, the home of the Nets, in a fine Eastern Conference battle at the Barclays Center. I'm Kevin Harlan. We've got an action-packed Saturday night of NBA action for you. Thanks for joining us. Here with me tonight, Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. We've got a chance now for our starting lineups from point guard to center. This game should be a good one. And guys, taking a look at Paul George, what will we see from him?
Yeah, he's a terror in the passing lanes, too. Loves to lay back a bit, kind of play possum, anticipate, and then dash out and pick off those careless passes.
And something else everybody loves about him is his ability to do the sensational and spectacular. His dunks simply defy description at times.
The Pacers will play just this one game on the road before returning back to Indiana. With most of their upcoming games taking place at home, they have a chance here to make a nice little push.
And right now, they're in the middle of what could be the most demanding part of their schedule all season. I mean, this is the third game they'll have played in 4 days. You've got to get some sore muscles and tired, weary legs when you're in a stretch like that. But not only the physical fatigue, there's the mental and emotional fatigue, too.
Yeah, we see teams lose their edge a little bit in these situations, and they have to be drained right now because of the schedule.
Terry against Johnson. Terry outside. Anderson right side. Releases from the wing and drills it. Anderson's got his first basket. Last outing for Indiana, they won that game against the Raptors.
And I thought, guys, they were the beneficiary of what was some lackluster defense being played against them.
I agree with you. I mean, it was really shocking how many free runs to the hoop they got. And up and down season for the Nets last year, and the playoffs were just more of the same. They ended up getting knocked out by the Bulls in the only first-round matchup that went to 7 games.
Well, back to the Nets in the playoffs. They lost a game at Barclays early and looked to be on the ropes down 3-1 after 4 games, but they did well just to steal one in Chicago and force a Game 7.
What a strange series that was. The Bulls made that miracle comeback behind Nate Robinson in 1 game and then ended up going on the road to Brooklyn and winning Game 7. What a disappointment for the Nets in their debut season in Brooklyn.
The Pacers making a change here. West is checked in.
Well, I tell you what, the Pacers did a lot of good things last year. Defended well, protected the rim and their home court. Really, the one area for improvement is probably the road record. They could get better in that area.
Now here's Johnson. Shot clock at 6. Copeland, defended by Anderson. Shot from the wing. That's good. Copeland's got his first points of the night. Well, Clark, as you said, the Pacers didn't play as well as they had hoped to on the road for a team that won the division. They were 19-21 away from Indianapolis, and Steve, not the kind of record they wanted to end with.
No, but if you're around 500 then you can control your home court, you're going to have a big season. And that's exactly what Indiana did. They ended up with the 3rd seed in the East, and all in all, a terrific year.
Here's Fisher, and after the made shot from Blatche, Fisher dishes to West. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
You know, it's been a while since the Nets have been one of the feared teams in the East. They had their best season since their days when they would make trips to the finals in the early 2000s. Really an excellent turnaround effort from the entire organization.
The first free throw is good. And for the Nets, who were one of the big turnaround stories from last season, they did it by beating the team, Steve, they were supposed to in the rest of the Eastern Conference. Great record against the East.
Yeah, 36-16 against their Eastern foes, so pretty solid in that regard. You know, they decided early on that the key was they had to get home court advantage in the first round. And they set their goal and they hit it. Unfortunately, they got knocked off by Chicago in that first round.
Now here's Terry. Last time out he had 13 points. Here's Lopez. Fisher grabs the board.
Great job defending the hoop there.
So important to have good presence defensively inside.
Lopez is there. Fisher, the pass to George. George gets a screen from Hibbert. On the wing, George. No good on that last second attempt there. And that concludes a back-and-forth, high-scoring first quarter of play. Brooklyn ahead, up 2. And the second quarter about to get started. We'll be back in just a moment.
Coming up next Monday, November 11th, Michael Conley and the Memphis Grizzlies go up against Paul George and the Indiana Pacers. Don't miss out.
So far, it's been a closely contested game as we get the second quarter up and going. And let's get your take, guys, on the hustle stats for the Nets.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
And the offensive rebounding has been really impressive so far as well. So I really like this team's.
And so it's Indiana with it. Scola, a screen on Williams. And Fisher kicks it to West. That's good. And the assist goes to Fisher. And it's 8 points for David West.
They've really flipped things around offensively.
Well, anytime you can make more than half your shots, Clark, you take that any day of the week.
On the court for Indiana, Granger and West at the forward slots. Fisher is out there with Watson, and it's Scola in at the 5 down low. Clock at 6. Here's Williams. Goes up and lays it nice and easy. Williams has got 13.
They have repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid dividends.
Yeah, it sure has, Clark. I mean, with as many points as they've gotten in the paint, they really haven't had to do much on the perimeter.
Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, guys, baddest one in the last outing against the Raptors ended up having a lot of troubles. He chipped in his share of points and helped out the team by coming up with a few key steals in that one as well. One of the concerns of the coaching staff is that this isn't an isolated incident. Now, with a growing number of week games, he says he's ready for a turnaround right here, right now. We'll see if he does just that, Kevin.
You're bringing it, Doris. Thank you so much. Thanks for that report. And I know, Clark, he was pretty disappointed in that performance.
And as a result, Kevin, I know we'll see him be more focused here. I mean, he does not like to lose or play poorly.
And sometimes in the NBA, that's what happens. You have a bad one, and it refocuses you. You know, an 82-game schedule wears you down. Sometimes you need a bad performance to kind of rekindle the fire.
He's made a name for himself in the league as being one of the best undersized fours out there, guys. I mean, Louis Scola can go up against somebody who's much taller than him and still find a way to pump fake his way to a hoop.
Catching up on the changes now for Indiana. Hibbert comes in for David West. And it's George in for Danny Granger. And Scola, Steve, at 6'9", not the biggest or most athletic player certainly on the floor, but he does a good job on the glass. He seems to be a very solid player.
And he plays very physically on defense. He's not afraid to get into you. Probably struggles to defend the more athletic players, but I think Scola is one of the smarter, savvier players we have in this league.
Fisher dishes to Hibbert, and stolen by Deron Williams. In transition, here come the Nets. Williams is running, and goaltending is going to be the call, so they get the basket there anyway.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block, but that one's going to count.
The Pacers making a switch here.
You know, a lot has been said about the Pacers and their defense, but in addition to them being great with their positioning and skill, they're one of the toughest and most rugged teams to deal with, both mentally and physically. They really pride themselves on playing smash-mouth basketball and don't hesitate to get into your airspace and get in your face.
And Clark, back to what you said, the Pacers did get in a few games last year where tempers flared and players got in each other's faces. But, you know, Steve, you look back at all the great defensive teams in NBA history, and not a lot of them were a group of amicable guys.
It's true. I mean, this was a great defense, and sometimes you have to ruffle feathers and get in people's faces in terms of being tough and gritty defensively. I think the Pacers understood that.
More good work on the glass there. When it's all said and done, I think rebounding might well tell the story in this one.
And that should tilt things toward them. I mean, they've been winning that battle.
Hibbert with a screen on Johnson. Outside for George. 6 on the shot clock. Indiana needs to get a shot off. from about 19 feet. Shot's good. George has got 6 here in this quarter.
It took him a little while to get into the flow of this game, but now he's definitely found his stride and rhythm.
Hill against Johnson. Feeds to Pierce. Back to Johnson from deep. The shot is off, and it's the Pacers taking it the other way. They're getting their first look at the season at the Nets in this one.
And not one of these games went their way last season.
Nets trail by 7. Joe Johnson on the wing. The rebound by Paul George. George has got rebound number 8 now on the night.
Kevin, not a single point in this quarter for him. Obviously, not what they need right now. He's got to score.
It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. And he can't extend the lead to double digits. And here is Williams. He had a 21-point outing in their last game against Washington.
He was exquisite in that game, Kevin. It wasn't just the scoring, it was the passing, too. And his teammates, you could tell, were just really enjoying playing with him.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Pacers lead by 7. Folks, stay tuned for the halftime show with Damon Bruce for all the highlights from our first half.
Now, presented by Sprint.
The fun has begun on this Saturday night, and we're ready to look back at all the first half action. Indiana with the lead against Brooklyn. A strong beginning to the season. They've wasted no time in getting off on the right foot. They're racking up the assists, great passing in the early going. And still hanging in there, the Brooklyn Nets. They've been getting roundly outplayed up to this point, and they'll need a bounce-back effort to make up for it in the second half. Joe Johnson has not had a good showing. Everything's been rimming out for him. He's got to be frustrated. Now let's get back over to Kevin Harlan and the rest of our crew as the second half gets underway.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
All right, the second half beginning in just a moment. It's been one outstanding... At the guards, Deron Williams, and the Jet, Jason Terry. Andre Kirilenko is out there with Evans, and it's Blatche in at the 5, roaming the paint. So that's the Nets 5. Granger gets a screen from Fisher. Granger passes to Fisher. Granger, a screen on Williams, and Fisher kicks to Granger. He got right to the cup using that screen. Granger's got 4 points this quarter.
Give an assist there, not for the pass, but for the solid screen set on the inside that freed him up and made the layup possible.
He feeds it to Kirilenko. The dish to Blatche. The Nets working the ball around now. It's Terry outside. The basket is good off the assist from Williams. Williams has got 6 assists here tonight.
Kevin, he does a great job of moving without the ball, and he gets a lot of good looks because of that movement. And as long as his teammates are setting screens and looking for him, he can be lethal from the outside.
And that is the key, Steve, but his release in those catch-and-shoot moments is also terrific.
And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Gentlemen, Andre Kirilenko declined a second-year player option on his contract with the Timberwolves worth $10 million. He had to settle for a lot less in Brooklyn, but at least a chance to play for a stacked team looking to contend for a title. Kevin?
Well, they've definitely added some quality size, Doris. No question about that. We'll see how they do.
Well, guys, now with the Nets and the Knicks both playing in New York, it's just added to the rivalry that was already pretty strong to start with. But it's interesting. If you're from Brooklyn and you grew up rooting for the Knicks, who do you cheer for now? It's probably divided some households, a lot of rivalries in families alone. It should be interesting as this team takes further root in Brooklyn.
And back to this Knicks-Nets rivalry. The Knicks, Clark, are considered the more established dominant team, but over the last decade, the Nets actually had the better winning percentage, and that might come as a surprise to some. Have beaten the Knicks when you look at games head-to-head. And Clark have had more playoff success.
Yeah, when you crunch the numbers, clearly the Nets are considered the upstarts, but the fact remains over the last decade, as you said, Kevin, they've been the better team. And I think whoever you root for, with both of them playing at a high level, it's a great time to be a Hoops fan in New York.
Well said, it is. Now the pass to Lopez. He's against Hibbert. Back to Terry. Pass to Johnson. Johnson right side. The 8-footer. That's good. Johnson's got 9 points.
You know, with all the shots they've knocked down here in the second half, their field goal percentage has crossed the 50% mark.
Well, and that usually leads to a win. I mean, this is just very efficient offense that we're seeing tonight.
Count that one.
Well, he certainly isn't the one to blame for them being in the hole. He's been on the money with his game.
Terry against Fisher. Terry dishes to Johnson. Lopez. It's good with the assist that time from Johnson. 6 points for Brook Lopez.
3 consecutive baskets have come right at the rim. The defense had better start buckling down and tightening up.
Yeah, they're getting exposed right now.
The basket counts and 1. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it a 3-point play.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
The Pacers have been a perfect 8 of 8 at the line. George Hill's checked in for Danny Granger. We've got 28 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. Here's Johnson. 9 points in the game so far. Lopez a screen on Fisher. Taylor backing down. He kicks to Lopez. Using his post moves to get the 2 points. Lopez has got 8 points. Now Fisher, 8-point game. Back to Hibbert. Good D by Lopez. And that does it for the third quarter. Both teams clicking offensively as we approach the fourth quarter. Brooklyn ahead, leading by 8. 2K Sports back in a moment here in Brooklyn.
The NBA season gains momentum. Kyrie Irving and the Cleveland Cavaliers take on Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls next Monday night.
The fourth quarter just moments away now as we welcome you back. All right, we'll take a look now at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Nets.
You know, one of the big stories.
Last game for Brooklyn, it was a loss to the Wizards.
Kevin, that game defensively was an absolute nightmare. They went into that building and just got blown out by a very hot team.
Well, they didn't defend those shooters like they should have. And once the fans got into it and the arena started rocking and thumping and bumping, things only got worse.
And so in the game for the Pacers. Down low, West and Hibbert. George and Granger on the perimeter. And it's Fisher in at the point guard position.
I think the game plan needs to change here, guys, if they're going to get out of the hole, because he is not helping their offense.
Johnson with it, and Granger picks him up defensively, and it's Joe Johnson with the 3. Johnson's got 12 points here in the second half.
This is a fantastic performance in this half. He didn't play as well in the first, but you just know with this guy, he's always ready to turn it around.
And it's Hibbert missing. Nets leading by 7. It's Williams with the drive, and that one's good.
Good work to tack some more points onto this lead.
Those are the kind of possessions they can build on and begin to pull away here.
Guys, they're looking for a way to score here.
Yeah, they've had a tough time getting the lid off the basket so far.
He got an advantage there off the pick and took it right in. And that's now 10 points for Roy Hibbert. Johnson outside. Williams has a screen for Johnson. Back to Kirilenko. Williams up on top. Shot clock at 5. Johnson goes in. He goes in for the dunk. Absolutely, Clark. No one in his airspace on that dunk.
Yeah, but come on, Kevin. The defense can't let that happen.
I hope they let it happen more. It's fun to watch that guy fly.
Just a gift, 2 points they gave up. That's awful. Everything's falling now, and this lead continues to increase.
Yeah, it's just way too hard to keep up with a scoring pace like this. I mean, and that's why the defense is having a tough time.
Hibbert with a screen on Williams, and Fisher kicks to Hibbert. That's good, and the assist goes to Fisher. And 12 points for Roy Hibbert. Nets leading by 9. Johnson outside. And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back. George Hill's checked in for Fisher. And so it's Brooklyn who scrapes by with the win. Well, they don't get much more exciting than that, Clark.
They sure don't. And when it was gut check time, this team kept their composure, kept their emotions in check, and got it done.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of NBA basketball on 2K Sports. For Clark, Stephen Doris, and the rest of the crew, Kevin Harlan saying see you next time.
It was another rough fourth quarter for you guys, as you weren't able to seal the deal at the end of the game. Do you feel like your team lost this game, or the other team won it?
I don't feel nothing. The game's over. It was a close one, and the balls didn't bounce our way in the end. I'm not going to get all upset about it at this point, or try to figure out exactly who should get all the credit. It's not worth it. I'm going to spend my energy on looking ahead to the next game and finding a way to make sure we do a better job then.